Other day I was at Honda. I took my 2023 Honda Civic Type R to get something done under warranty. While I was there, I got quoted for the next service for the Type R, which is service code A127, and they quoted me over What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I make car content specifically with my Honda Civic Type R and my 370Z Nismo. So if you own a Type R or any Honda in general, this video is going to save you so much money. Today we're going to break down the service code A127, and I'm going to do a DIY on everything in my garage and compare it directly to the dealership pricing. Service code 127 sounds complicated, but it is actually pretty straightforward. The A in the service code is oil change. So when you see an A on your dashboard, that means you are due for an oil change. The 1 means a tire rotation, which they charge probably like 50 to $100 just to do that, and you can literally do that yourself. It is pretty easy. Same with the oil. Oil is like the bare basic of car maintenance, and I think everyone should know how to change their oil, especially if you're a man. The 2 in the service code means engine and cabin air filters, which is probably another super basic car maintenance that you should know how to do, because the dealership is going to charge you. That's like the number one thing they like upcharge you on, and it is insane. Finally, the 7, that is probably the most complicated out of all of them. So if you're not comfortable with doing this, it is pretty easy. I've done it a few times, so I kind of know what I'm doing. I've never done it on the Type R, so it is something new. But the 7 is the brake fluid replacement. It's pretty easy. It sounds pretty intimidating, but trust me, it is super easy. I also will be replacing the brakes on the Civic Type R. I don't think they need to be replaced, but if you know, the OEM brakes produce so much dust and they make your wheels look gray after like one drive, which is insane. It is something I want to change because I do have new wheels and I want to reduce the brake dust on the Civic Type R. That video will be out very soon. I am super excited because this will be my winter setup, and I got like a spring and summer wheel setup, which is gonna look so fire. While we're doing brake fluid replacement, I will be doing the brakes, which will add a little bit more time into the maintenance. And the $1,100 is including that, so that's why I added that in there. But just for the service code 127, they quoted me around $465. That was an estimate the guy gave me, plus the brake pads. So if you wanted to get just the code done, it will run you a little over $450, which is still so much money when you can just buy your oil filter, and tire rotation is free basically, and also the brake fluid, which is probably less than $200 just for that. And then for the brake pad replacement, they quoted me about $250 for labor. For the front brake pad, they quoted me $425. And for the rear, they quoted me for $248.96, which comes out to an estimate of $713 just to replace my brakes. It is not needed, it is not part of the code, but I will do it. So that $465 plus the $713, that is where I'm getting the $1,100 just for basic maintenance on the Type R. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do all this at home and show you guys, track every dollar and show you how much you actually need to spend to do it yourself and save you hundreds of dollars doing it at home instead of taking it to a dealership, which is something I like to do. I like to save my money where I can. If I know how to do it, I will do it. But an oil change is much needed on the Type R. I usually change it every 5,000 miles, but since it's been extremely cold here, I have not wanted to do an oil change, which I know is pretty easy and pretty fast, but I don't like working on the car when it's cold. But today we're gonna do it. I went over by like 3,000 miles. So it's at like 800 since the last oil change. This is my daily, so I do want to change the oil pretty often to preserve the lifespan of the Type R, because I do plan on keeping this for a very long time. So let's get straight into it. Oil change is first, and it's pretty easy. So let's go. Next on the list is the tire rotation, and this is probably the easiest car maintenance you can do at home with barely any tools. But for front wheel drive cars like the Type R, the two fronts are gonna go to the rear, and the passenger rear is gonna go to the driver's front, and the driver's rear is gonna have to go to the passenger front. I'll put a picture up right here and show you guys. I'm pretty sure it's called forward cross. It's pretty simple. The two fronts are gonna go to the back, and the passenger rear is gonna go to the driver front, and the driver rear is gonna go to the passenger front. Pretty straightforward. That's next on the list, and that's gonna save us a few extra bucks, maybe like $100, because dealership prices are insane. So let's do that real quick and let's move on to the next thing on our list. And just like that, the tire rotation is done. Pretty easy, pretty simple. If this is something you guys need to do, just do it yourself. Trust me, save some money and do it yourself. I am not gonna bolt them up yet because I still need to do the brake fluid and the brake pads. So we're just gonna keep them off, but I have them laid out where they're supposed to be. So Next on the list is going to be the engine filter. This is probably the next easiest thing, and you don't need any tools. All you need to do is unclip some clips and put in the filter. Pretty simple. I went with the K&N. I'll put the model number on the screen. For the Type R, I couldn't find any like cheap cabin filters. For this one, you're able to clean it and I won't have to replace it as often. We're gonna install this and move on to what's next on the list. Also, my son's out here, so if you guys hear anything, yeah, he's out here. He's about to go take a nap. As you guys can see, it is very dirty. I just installed it, so I'm gonna show you guys real quick how to do it and how to save money on doing something super simple. First, you're gonna unclip all these on top. It's gonna be 3 clips. Pull those tabs, pull that tab, move this to the side. Now you're gonna have 1 clip up top. It should snap, snap. The engine filter has like this little bracket. All you have to do is pull this off just like that. This side is broken from the previous owner, so don't know what happened there. But once you have everything clipped, slide it up and pull it up just enough to get to the engine filter right there. And I'll show you guys real quick. Right there, and you just pop in your air filter, and just like that, you will probably save like $100 just by doing that yourself. So now we're just gonna button everything up. That is probably easier than the tire rotation. All you have to do is make sure you line up the tabs in the bottom, push this down, the clip on the left, clip on top, just like that. Pop these back in. 1, 2, 3, and then you just got to push this back down, and that is it. Just like that, the engine filter is in. So next on the list is gonna be the cabin filter, which is on the passenger side, I believe, because that is pretty much where all the cabin filters are. So let's move on to that, and that is gonna be just as easy as the engine filter. All right, so for the cabin filter, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be in here. So all you wanna do is just empty out your glove compartment, pinch in right here. There is like a little damper or a little rod right here. All you're gonna do is just push down and it should unclip. There you go, there you go. So this little rod, make sure you fully take that off because I was about to rip that off right there. And then all you're gonna do is pull off the hinges a little hard. Just like that. At the very top, you're gonna see your air filter, and all you're gonna do is just pinch on the sides right here, remove that, and in there you're gonna find your cabin filter. Oof. Just like that. It's very dirty. So yep, it is time to replace this. I like how these are made out of like this silicone on the side. It's not as flimsy as the other one. I'm just gonna have the K&N logo facing us. Put that in there. So once again, that was pretty easy and took probably like 5 minutes. And again, the whole point of this video is to show you guys that you guys can save so much money just doing it yourself and not take your car to the dealership for easy maintenance like this. So now, just gonna button everything back up, put everything in there, and just like that, the cabin filter is in. Now we're gonna move on to the brake. These are the brake pads that I went with, the Brembo ceramic brake pads. Here are the part numbers for the FL5. So if you guys need those, screenshot that. But from all the reviews I've seen, a lot of videos that I've seen, these brake pads do not produce as much brake does as the OEM, which is what I'm looking for, because for the wheels that I'm going with, I will need this 100%. And I don't plan on tracking or doing anything crazy, so these are perfect for daily driving or just like street use. But you do not want to go with these if you plan on tracking your car, because you're gonna have a horrible time and something bad could happen, because these do not have the braking power. But these are the ones that I am going with, and this is the brake fluid that's gonna go into the FL5. So I'm gonna start off by doing the brake pads first and then flushing. You do not want to flush first and then add new brakes, because that will defeat the purpose of doing a brake flush. So we're gonna install the brake pads first and then move on to the brake fluid, and we should be done with the video. Like I was saying earlier, the dealership quoted me $425 for the front brake pads and $248 with 96 cents for the rear brake pads, plus labor, which was $250, which came out to $713 just to do the brake pad. This is something extra that I'm doing, so it's not included in that service code. But since I'm doing the brake flush, I'm gonna do the brake pads. It just made sense. And I'm already saving a lot of money with doing this myself, so I went ahead and I am upgrading the brake pads. So let's move on to replacing the brake pads and then the brake fluid. So I just finished the passenger side, and I did not know how difficult it is to do the rears, because I don't have like that special scan tool where it's like $10,000 or whatever. So I found a video on how to do the rears, and I finally know how to do them. So it took me a little bit, but we got it down. So the passenger side is complete. So now the driver's side should be a lot easier and a lot faster. I do have both of my kids out here because Shay had to go and do something. So if you guys hear chaos, that's what I'm dealing with, and I'm trying to get this done. So I gotta do what I gotta do. So that is going to be it for the brake pads. It's pretty easy, pretty straightforward, except for some minor hiccups like the rear. I've never had to deal with like an electric e-brake, so that hopefully I didn't mess anything up. But from what I've seen, what I've read, that was the way to do it if you didn't have like a scan tool, like a professional scan tool. So hopefully that helps out. But I finished the brake pads. Hopefully these brake pads have less brake dust, because the brake dust on these is, on the OEM at least, is insane. Let's move on to the brake fluid. I might need Shay's help to pump the brakes. I might not. I bought a bleeder when I did the Z and it did not fit the cap for the brake fluid. So if it works, I won't need her help and it would be a lot easier and a lot faster. Let's get to it, get that done, and we should be done with this video. Let's go. The code that I was talking about is right here. When you check your oil life, it's gonna say like the percentage. I never really go off of this. I just go off of miles. So I try to change between 3,000 to 5,000 since this is like my daily and this is what I drive mostly every single day. I try to do it within that range. This time I kind of went over. I went to like 8,000, but that is the code right there, Alpha 127. And that is the next maintenance code for your Type R. Also, if you don't want to Google what the code is, if you go to your main screen and go over to vehicle setting right there and go here, maintenance info, that is going to tell you everything that is due for your Type R. So A, it's going to be engine oil, 1 tire rotation, air filters, and brake fluid. So one thing I like to do is always reset the trip B. So that is the last time I changed the oil. So all you have to do is hold on to the wheel, reset. So now we are good for that. Last thing I'm going to do is restart all the maintenance info, which we're just going to click that. We're going to do all due items, reset. Now we're probably going to have a new code, so the next time I do this, this is going to be the next code, just a B. Since it was like my 30,000 mile, basically, I'm at like 28,000. That is why I had such a big, so I'm at 28,000. So all the maintenance that I did is basically your 30,000 mile maintenance. And now we just have a code B right there for the next time we change the oil. So that is going to be super nice. Just do the oil and that is it. So I forgot to film the outro, but we are complete with the basic maintenance on my 2023 Honda Civic Type R. And just like that, we saved so much money doing it ourselves. Besides doing the brake pads, that was an additional thing I wanted to do for myself because I was doing a brake flush. So everything in total, I saved myself so much money. I'm gonna do a little breakdown and give you guys a rundown of what that was. So for the dealership to do the code A127, they quoted me $465 for a brake job for replacing all brake pads. They were gonna charge me about $713, which comes out to $1,178 that I would have spent at the Honda dealership if I didn't do it myself. So doing it yourself, for the oil and filter, I paid $45.95. For the filters, the engine filter and the cabin filter, I paid $121.33. You can try to find something cheaper, but parts for the Type R are gonna be slightly more expensive. That's just what comes with the car. The brake fluid, I went with the Motul RBF 600, which is a .4, I believe. Yep, it's a .4. I got 2 of these bottles, which equals 1 quart. And that's how much you need to fill up the Type R. That came out to $37.02. And then the brake pads, I bought them off a website. I forgot the website, but it came out to $147.24. So that totals out to $351.57, which is insane. Would you rather pay $1,100 or $350? I don't know. You guys tell me down in the comments below. Trust me, you're gonna save so much money. I'm not saying never go to the dealership. If you have warranty work, like I went a couple weeks ago, my coolant reservoir, like the seal was cracking and it was spilling out coolant. So I had to go to the dealership and they did that. So if it was something free like warranty, of course, go to your dealership, get that done there, because there's no point of paying or trying to do that yourself if it's still covered under warranty. If you're not comfortable, go to the dealership. The last thing you want to do is ruin your car. If you think you can do it, trust me, just go ahead and do it. Save yourself even a couple $100 just doing an oil change every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. So it kind of feels like the dealership, they see you driving a Type R, they're gonna be like, oh, this guy can afford it. He's gonna do all the maintenance here and spend the money. But no, I am very frugal with my money. If I can save even $200, $100, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it myself, and I'm just comfortable doing it. So that is gonna be the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Hopefully that gives you like an overview of what dealerships charge compared to what you can do at your house if you have the right tools, if you kind of have the space to do it. Hopefully this video is helpful. If you guys found this helpful, leave a comment down below and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It's gonna help me out a lot. We're almost at 2,000 subscribers, so that's gonna be another big milestone. We're trying to get to, hopefully I can get to 5,000 by the end of the year. We still got 8 more months, so if we stick through it, we're gonna do it. If you guys wanna see more videos like this, like DIYs or comparing dealerships to DIYs, or just give me any video ideas, trust me, it'll help me out a lot. Coming up with ideas to record on cars is kind of difficult, but we're gonna make it work. We're just gonna keep going, and hopefully we can hit our milestones this year. If you guys don't know, I do have a brand, not Young LA, but Silent Society. So if you guys want to check that out, just a little shameless plug, go down in the description, you'll see the link to the website. Yeah, that's gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in my next video.